started it a minute early, but that's okay. I didn't want to forget.
Yeah.
Can you guys see me?
No.
No, we can't. We can hear you, but we
Yeah,
can't
I'm
see a
trying to get
picture.
I can hear you and I can see you, but I can't figure out. And I found my tablet, by the way.
That's what Tracy said.
Oh yeah. So I'm on it right now, but I'm trying to figure out how the heck I get the camera on, but at least I'm here.
Yep, good thing.
So Tracy's holding down the fort.
He sure
I'm trying.
is.
I'm trying. Driver's ed has a bunch of drivers things going on today, so I might close our conference room door once we get going.
Looks like it's 5 o'clock. Why don't we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry you had to look at our stomachs.
All right. So public comment. We'll start with public comment. Anybody in the room? Anybody in the room?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Anybody online? Anybody online? Public comment. Hearing none, let's move to our regular agenda items. Administrative items. Approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Johnny,
Yep, I've read them and I make a motion to approve them as written.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, a review of the monthly budget report and vouchers. And I'll sign when I get back. Tracy?
Okay. All right. Yeah, they
Okay.
both have to sign when you get back.
And
Yeah,
I will
so
see you on Friday, Tracy, if you're there.
Okay, I won't be, but somebody will. No, nobody will be here on Friday. I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll make it Monday then.
Okay,
so on the voucher list, the items of interest include A1 plumbing for $985. That was a Dayton Tractor toilet that had to be replaced. They've been there a very long time, so we got our money's worth out of the original. And the Anderson Perry bill for $7,700 is the Craft Malt Engineering. Interesting voucher from the Banner Bank. One of our payments to them for a loan, or what's called a bond when you're a government, is almost cut in half, and it does not change the trajectory of us paying off the loan, and it is because of the reduction in what federal bonds are paying, which is not necessarily a good thing it's not a good thing for the people who buy bonds. It certainly is a good thing for those of us who have borrowed money through bonds.
Sure.
So pretty shocking. That's the first time in my career that's ever happened. Let's see, Banner Bank, $100 is the new sweep account that we approved at the last meeting. So we had to put $100 in it to open the account. And that will be for accepting electronic funds payments. So people we'll work out a way that we can take credit cards and other payments from tenants and particularly the kitchen users. Barker was for gravel delivered to Linesbury Marina for some improvements there. The Blue Mountain Station Co-op, that was for a lunch for the workshop we held yesterday. Community Council was for table sponsor. Snake River Plumbing, we had a hot water heater fail at Lions Ferry Marina, and a big kitchen sink leak. But the L&I, who inspects boilers, has been complaining about the hot water heater at Lions Ferry for quite some time because it was in the attic of the store and they wanted it on the ground floor. So now it's on the ground floor. So that kind of solved that problem. 6,500 to the Shallert Group. That was for the workshop yesterday, and we got a grant to pay for that, the cost of that presenter. Urban Patterns, and 26,000 was Craft Malt project. And the UB was a hotel wrap, just an advertising. So those were items of interest. The only other thing let's see, and on the budget report, I would draw your attention to the expense side under economic development. You can see that we've used 98% of our funds for the year. And that is because of the grant for these trainings and the speakers that we've been paying. We have a grant to offset that. So I don't want you to be concerned that we've overspent in that line item. We've gotten revenue to offset it. Yep. It's just hard to make it show up that way on a budget. So otherwise, nothing unusual. So I'm happy to entertain questions if you have any.
How much is that grant coming back for that?
20,000.
20, okay.
Yeah. So we spent, I think the speaker was 13, the special speaker, and he had travel expenses and all that. And then we're paying a few other trainers, just a much smaller amount. Yeah. Yeah. 4,500. So we have covered, we will have covered all the expenses.
We have.
All right.
You do not. Oh, no, these are, it's you sign, so you
Okay.
don't have to.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
Not from me.
Okay.
Leases.
We have one lease to sign, and you'll have to do that when we get back to the office. That is with Hawk and Vine Vintners. That is a 2-year lease for Sweet J at Blue Mountain Station. That is the tasting room that Dave Harvey, or that Red Van Cellars vacated. So now we have a new tenant as of June 1st,
Cool.
2-year lease. So that's something you can just sign when you get to the office.
Okay. Perfect. So update on port assets, Rock Hill.
Have we had any maintenance in the industrial park this month, Tracy? I can't think of any.
No, I don't
Toilet
believe-
at Dayton Tractor, but we mentioned that.
Right, that's it.
Yeah, so there's really no new activity in the industrial park.
Okay. Lions Ferry Marina.
Okay, so I went out Monday to the marina and met with 2 gentlemen that are visiting with Wally and Joanne with interest in potentially buying their business to operate the marina. So very great business experience both of these gentlemen have. And they seem very interested. So they are working on kind of negotiating with Wally and Joanne about how they're gonna make the deal. So it sounds pretty good. It sounds like it'll probably happen. So, and Wally and Joanne are committed to staying until October. Thank goodness, because what I told the potential new owners was to make sure they figured out how to learn from Wally and Joanne as much as they could. So they are still having trouble with employees. They still need a cook and a maintenance person. So they've been looking for well over a month. So right now they're just doing a limited menu, and Joanne is cooking, and they're managing on the maintenance. It looks great out there. So anyway, that's good news. We'll see if that transition comes to fruition.
Okay.
And then the Columbia Park morages, I mentioned that in my mid-month report. There are some morages at Columbia Park in the Tri-Cities. The marina is being disassembled. I can't remember what the word is, taken apart. It's going away. The Corps of Engineers is because of, I don't remember if it's fish habitat or what the reason is, but they are not able to have that marina anymore. So, we have hired a company out of Idaho, HDB Engineering, I think it's called, Harrison Dock Builders. And so they have come down to, and we needed expert opinion on whether or not we could, purchase those, one of the covered morages, or actually two of the covered morages, and replace the very aging and derelict sea moorage with these better morages, without having to drive new pilings. We're trying to see if we can figure out how to make them fit the existing pilings. So we hired this company to come and look at both sets of morages and see what they can figure out. It doesn't mean we can't do pile driving, but that takes a very complicated permit from the Corps of Engineers. This really needs to try to get done by July 1st if it can. So we've got to move quickly. So, we're splitting the cost of that expert with, Wally and Joanne. And, we're just waiting to hear back from them. And the morages are, we would have enough cash on hand to just buy them outright because they're
Good.
pretty, good price. So cross your fingers that works, because our other morages are fine. If we could replace C, that was on our long-term facilities plan. If we could replace C, we would be in great shape. And then if you recall, I said that, Tidewater or Shaver, whichever company it was, had damaged the sea moorage when their barge went by, driving too fast. And so they are willing to fix it, but if we could replace it, we're gonna engage them to help us get that done as their payment for
They could bring
damage.
the
Yeah, we're
other one
thinking
up.
they could bring it up. Yeah. So cross your fingers that all works out. And I think that's it at the marina.
Okay,
Everything looks great out there. They're busy, doing great.
super. Okay.
You say we're gonna split the cost with Joanne.
Yep.
What do you think the total cost will be for that assessment?
4,000.
Okay.
4,000. And they wanted to do it because I said, boy, gosh, do we really want to spend that money? And they really think this can be a major improvement. And they were willing enough they wanted to do it willing enough that they were willing to split the cost. So, and we'll just
And we
use
think it might take care of that long-term need that we need for that.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
If this could work, it would take care of a long-term need, and yes, it would be a
Okay.
huge step forward. Yes, it would be really, really great. So of course, then, I think the docks are 20,000 a piece, so I think it would cost 40,000 to purchase them. But again, we have a capital improvement budget, and it would be my highest recommendation that we just go ahead and just purchase them outright. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense for the concessionaire to purchase moorage. They can't take them with them. They can't take the docks with them. It makes sense for us to purchase them and then increase the rent a little bit to get a return on our investment. So that would be our plan.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, because it's infrastructure. But
All right. Thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Blue Mountain Station. Yep. So we have been just still working on design for the malt facility. We did, part of the funds are going to be used to pay for a consultant from Canada that helped us with the feasibility study. And so that person is going to make sure that this design works for a malting facility. And it's very inexpensive. It's only costing $5,000 out of the money we already have budgeted. And so we've met with him. And so once the drawings are pretty far along, he will actually review the drawings and then provide feedback on how he thinks the processing flow, because there's quite a bit to this. You've got grain delivery, you've got malt finished product going out, you've got holding tanks, you've got where they sprout the grain, you've got and then there's going to be some, yes, roasted, all of it. So trying to make sure that all works and trying to make sure the flow of the site works with the existing road system and if these are larger trucks that will be bringing in grain. So it's really good to have him and really good to have Anderson Perry on board because they can really make sure that works. And I feel like the architects are doing a great job of sorting that out. So,
Cool.
yep. And yep. So the plan is to have the design done by the end of 2025 and be ready to go out for bid. So it's pretty exciting. I don't have anything more on the green cluster at this time, just the
Anything
malt.
else at Blue Mountain Station?
I don't think so. We told you about the new winery. I don't think, is there anything else that
We have some users that are working through the financial aspect of moving from a kitchen user to actual space rental. And so we've been with them probably 3 times in the last 3 days.
Mhm.
And so we just keep visiting with them and what they look like, their business trajectory looks like. So we'll keep working on that.
Yeah, that's pretty
Excellent.
fun. It's fun to see somebody go from fledgling idea to kitchen user to actually thinking they could have their own processing space. Yeah.
All right. Railroad.
Okay, so Kim and I met on our list for discovery and fact finding, and I asked her to help me go through it. I mean, I've started on it, but there are some questions I can't answer in it. So she and I went through and came up with a list of items to ask the rail operator for on those questions, and then a list to ask the consultants that help with the appraisal on. So I have prepared letters for both Paul and Columbia Rail and for what's it, I can't think of the name of the company.
The one that did a-
Yes,
a
and
pretty-
so I have sent them written requests for information. And so I haven't heard back from Paul yet, but I mean, I gave him time to do it. It's not something he's gonna do overnight. And then the consultants are gonna get back to me. One of them's on vacation, so they're getting back to me next week. So that's good. And then I continue to work on the other questions that I can answer, like the funding, the history, grants, things like that. So still making good progress. And then as far as projects go, I did, oh yeah, yes, Johnny?
Yeah, on that, is any way that we could have by the next meeting, have a pretty good idea? Pretty close to completion. This thing keeps kind of dragging out, not for anybody's necessarily reason, but it keeps dragging a little bit. So any way we can have some documents by the next meeting, on where we're at with that
Johnny,
for the
I
railroad?
know on the last couple meetings, we were looking at August is what we asked them.
That's man, that stretches it out pretty good in my opinion. That's just my opinion that I think we need to, I'd like to see where we're at on those. I don't think it should take 4 or 5 months to do those questions. I would say within 60 days, I would imagine we should have been able to have them. So if we could get a kind of a light of fire under that, that'd be most excellent.
Some of these depend upon the railroad operator and other people to get the answers from. So
Yeah, I'm talking about the stuff that we control. I'm talking about the stuff that we control.
Well,
I do understand that we are still waiting for some other folks and some logistics and the legal and all the other good stuff. But yeah, I just don't want to keep dragging it too far. Should be able to have an idea of where we're at so we can make a move on a direction.
This isn't the only thing I'm doing. So there is literally only so much I can do in getting this done, and also manage a craft malt project and a marina concessionaire transition and so on and so on. So I'm not dragging my feet. I will work on it.
I would, yeah.
And so
I would just say dragging on, not anybody particularly, just the process itself.
Yeah.
Johnny, I think that we ask for updates each month. Seth asked for updates each month, and Jenny's doing the best she can, unless we want to hire somebody to answer these questions other than Jenny. I don't know what we're going to put on the back burner to free up her time and then part of it lands with Kim also.
Understood.
I guess, do we want it fast or do we want it thorough?
Well,
It was just a request.
I asked, Columbia Rail to give me a response by June 30th. So,
Okay,
yeah, and then the consultants, I don't know how fast they can work. Because I'd reached out, I sent them the questions a long time ago, but now I've honed down which ones I want them to answer. So I will make sure that we have a good, better understanding of how long it's gonna take or how much longer it will take at the June meeting.
thank you very much.
We can also have her answer the questions she's got the answers for.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
partial. So I see they were working downtown on a crossing.
Yes, yeah, it looks like they're working on the crossings, yes.
Down there behind Dingles.
Mhm.
Is that
Yep,
right?
they've got about 5 crossings in town they're working on, and I'm glad, because it has to be done by June, so
Yeah.
they're getting going on it. And I did want to bring up the UB article. There was an article in the Union Bulletin about, it says Port of Walla Walla permits Columbia Rail to transport grain near Wallula Junction. It was fascinating because this was the facility that he cannot get to. So I asked Paul if that changed things, and he said not really, but he thought this was a step in the right direction to try to get better access to the facility. So it really doesn't solve the problem of getting to the facility. So anyway, I didn't know if you guys had seen it, so I just wanted to bring it up. Okay.
All right, moving on, broadband.
Okay, so the Port of Walla Walla was awarded $2 million in 2021 at the same time we were, and to extend fiber to, I think, Touchy and Waitsburg, and they have decided not to take advantage of those funds. So those funds have become available, and Petrichor, and we had a request from Columbia County to extend fiber up to the top of Crawl Hollow, where there are many communication towers, including the E91 communication tower for Columbia County. And then all of the big cell carriers have towers there. And then also we had the existing ISPs that serve Starbuck tell us a couple of years ago that it would really help Starbuck to have fiber to the home, even though there won't be fiber to Starbuck. Having the fiber to the home will allow them to provide a much better service because of line of sight issues using their existing technology. So Petrichor approached us about applying for those funds that had been turned back to extend the fiber and to the top of Crawl Hollow. And the ISP, one of the ISPs is willing to provide the match. If you recall, last time we had to have $500,000 match, and the internet service provider has agreed to provide the match. And in return, they will not lease the fiber from us. They will keep those funds and use it to operate and maintain that piece of fiber. So Kara's got it all sorted out. We have a letter of intent a letter of commitment from the ISP, and the application was turned in yesterday, but we have to have this resolution, and Curb agreed, if you guys all agree to this, that we can turn the resolution in late, because the application deadline was Monday. So
I'd like to speak to this. I know that the E911 center is having really bad time with their connection, their microwave to the tower, and this would, for life safety, fix that. And so, Johnny, I would move to you, because I can't make a motion as a chair, to approve resolution 2503.
Yeah, I agree. I move to adopt resolution 2503. Bob Brent, or at least put in for that project, that grant. We'll go from there.
Okay, it's been moved. I'll second. Since we have no dissent, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Excellent.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you.
Do you need, how fast do you need my signature on that?
Monday is okay, because we're gonna be at this conference through Friday anyway, so Monday is just
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Monday will work. All right, good.
Monday will work.
Any other
Okay.
broadband?
No, I think that's all I have.
Okay, community economic development. Any staff reports?
I don't have much. I gave you a lot of information in my mid-meeting report. So I think, still working with on the Lower Snake River Dam study with the county engineers. It's nice that they're really approaching us, these counties directly for making sure that they're determining the appropriate movement of freight. How it could affect the rail line is a separate part of the study. So this is really just about what the impact to roads would be if the dams were breached. So it's been nice to be included in that. Let's see, I went to the Hotel Hardware grand opening a couple weeks ago. That was very nice. Still working with the company that's considering energy production business. We're calling it Project Spark. So we have some names for our River Spark. So we've got names for our projects, so you can keep track of what we're doing. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention in the Craft Malt report that I have started the application with Pacific Power for power extension on the site. We talked about the docks, talked about curb. Oh, we did, we've had to compile financial documents for our annual report. We haven't heard back from the accountant yet. But that is due May 30th, so we expect to hear back from him very soon. Tracy and I worked on that together. I met with Jake Davis to discuss his subdivision and the railroad right of way. We really are putting the onus on him at this point. We think maybe the land swap could work. We talked about the land swap last meeting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that could work, but the onus is on him right now to determine where the road needs to be and work with his engineering firm on actual drawings. Finally got all the final broadband reports done for the last projects and have those turned in, so.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna let Shane talk. We've been just buried with business training, but I'm gonna let Shane talk about that instead of me taking his thunder.
That's okay. Thank you. As Jenny mentioned, we are about halfway through our Business Boosters training series, which is the grant that we talked about earlier, that 20,000. Yesterday we held the all-day John Schallert event. The businesses that showed up really took a lot away from it. And he's an excellent speaker and really helped some of those businesses. Today we hosted ARIA, which is the governor's office of something regulatory innovation, something, but there was Labor and Industry, Secretary of State, Department of Revenue, women and minority-owned businesses. So we had a pretty good panel of people that came. The unfortunate side is there were 4 of us there to hear their presentation. So great resources. They were really there to help small businesses. So we have some takeaways to help our small businesses. We held our first kickoff meeting for the Sesquicentennial of Columbia County, and we are working through some of the details of that. We have a great group of people that have stepped up to the plate to help us get this facilitated and organized. So we're excited about that. Jenny and I are working with Bo on a final logo, and that will get to the committee and we'll get it kicked out. The Historic Dayton Days is next weekend. And so if you
can, please stop down to the fairgrounds Friday or Saturday, the parade downtown, Saturday at 10. Additionally, the Depot has Living History, and the movie theater, Michelle has jumped in with The Last Rodeo. So it's become a great collaboration of community effort to make this thing happen. And so we're just really excited to see it come to fruition. And as Jenny alluded, we're working on some projects. I'm actually working on Project Clean Slate, which will be a much needed business in our community. And once more details become available, I'm happy to share them. We have put this person with the Small Business Development Center with Paul, and it's working really well. And so we're excited to see it come to fruition. And I'm still working on our vacant building inventory and ways we can maximize getting people here to Dayton, to Columbia County, and getting some of those buildings filled and generate some tax revenue. So,
Cool.
And I'm happy to stand for any questions.
Johnny,
I don't have any questions, just thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Shane deserves a lot of kudos for this business trainings and stuff we've been doing have been intense, late nights, early mornings, and he's just handled it like a champ. So appreciate that. We'll have to give him some time off another day.
Well, my hotel
Another
room
month.
came with the soaking tub, so you might not see me at dinner.
Housing. Do we have anything to report on housing?
I don't have anything
I
new,
don't.
no.
Dayton Developmental Task Force. And I'm supposed to be the one that reports on that, and I don't have any notes.
I wasn't at the last meeting because
Yeah.
wasn't I gone? Yeah.
I know
Where were
we're
we?
planning on having a future public input session, and Scott was there. He can shake his head up or down whether I'm covering right stuff or not. I think that's a big step of community involvement, reset our vision. The last one was when they redid downtown Main Street. And I can't remember how many years ago, quite a few years. So those were the big things I took away from it. All the subcommittees and all that are working and doing their jobs, and I know the flower baskets are gonna go up when the wind's low enough.
Yeah.
Won't end up in Garfield County.
They're ready. Yep, they're ready to go.
We a new grant has made itself known to us, and Joni Hudson and I are going to work to get that applied for the QR code project, which is the name escapes me. It has a name, but it talks about the history of each building in downtown, and you can actually scan the QR code and it'll take you to a website and show you pictures and verbiage and all kinds of fun stuff. So we're gonna work on that grant, and that will be for the task force. So
Yeah. Any questions, Johnny? Sorry for the bad report, but
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
all right. So let's go to the room. Is there any public comment in the room? Any public comment in the room? Hearing none, I'll go to anybody that's zoomed in. Does anybody have public comment on Zoom? Hearing none, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you.
Tracy, for being there.
Yes, thank you, Tracy.
You're very welcome. Sorry you couldn't be here in person.
So are we.
Okay, and
And
just
I'll
so
come find
everybody,
you.
if everybody can remember, our next meeting will actually be at Lions Ferry Marina. We always hold our June meeting at Lions Ferry, so.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks, Johnny, for zooming in.
Yeah, we do Zoom out there. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
Yep.
everybody.
Thank you for the opportunity to be able to do that. It helps me out from time to
No
time.
problem.
Bye.
Okay,
All right.
bye.
End recording.
Okay.